series. Today, the video is on Chester Bennington, who was the lead singer for Linkin Park before tragically taking his own life. I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Chester Charles Bennington was an American singer-songwriter, and he even acted. He was best known as the lead vocalist for Linkin Park, and also as the lead vocalist for bands Grey Days, Dead by Sunrise, and between 2013 and 15, he was even the lead singer of the Stone Temple Pilots. Chester Charles Bennington was born on March 20th, 1976 in Phoenix, Arizona. His mother was a nurse, while his father was a police detective who worked on child sexual abuse cases. Bennington took an interest in music at a very young age, citing the bands Depeche Mode and Stone Temple Pilots as his earliest inspirations, and dreamed of becoming a member of the Stone Temple Pilots. Bennington was a victim of sexual abuse from an older male friend when he was 7 years old. He was afraid to ask for help because he did not want people to think that he was gay or lying, and the abuse continued until he was 13. Years later, he revealed the abuser's identity to his father, but chose not to pursue him after he realized the abuser was a victim himself. Bennington's parents divorced when he was 11. The abuse from his male friend and his situation at home affected him so much that he felt the urge to run away and even hurt other people. To comfort himself, he drew pictures, wrote poetry, and even songs. After the divorce, Bennington's father gained custody of him. Bennington started using and abusing alcohol, marijuana, opium, cocaine, meth, and even LSD. He was physically bullied in high school. In an interview, he said that he was knocked around like a rag doll for being skinny and just simply looking different. At the age of 17, Chester moved in with his mother. He was banned from leaving the house for quite a while when his mother discovered his drug activity. Bennington continued with depression and substance abuse for the vast majority of his life. Bennington gained prominence as a vocalist at the release of Linkin Park's debut, Hybrid Theory, which released in 2000, which was a worldwide commercial success. The album was certified diamond, which is a crazy amount of sales, by the Recording Industry Association of America in 2005, making it the best-selling debut album of the decade, as well as one of the few albums ever to achieve diamond. Linkin Park's following studio albums, from Meteora in 2003 all the way up to One More Light, continued with the band's hit success. Chester formed his own band, Dead by Sunrise, as a side project in 2005. The band's debut album, Out of Ashes, was released on October 3rd, 2009. He became the lead singer of the Stone Pilots, as I mentioned, in 2013, and continued on until 2015, when he chose to leave to, quote, focus solely on Linkin Park. Chester possessed a 3-octave tenor vocal range, beginning at the low bass G and reaching its peak at the tenor G. His vocals showed tremendous durability for the entirety of his career. A reporter for Rolling Stone wrote, "Bennington's voice embodied the anguish emotions of his lyrics, from capturing life's vulnerable moments to the fury and catharsis found in his belted screams, which he would often move between at the turn of a dime. Talking about his favorite bands and influence, Chester mentioned the Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Arcade Fire, Circle Jerks, The Descendants, Deftones, Jane's Addiction, Metallica, Minor Threat, Misfits, Nirvana. You can start to see the trend here. He was very heavily influenced and inspired by early 90s to late 80s grunge and heavy metal bands. But one that I found that was interesting was that Chester also considered himself a, quote, huge Madonna fan, crediting her for making him, growing up, to want to be a musician. Chester began his singing career actually not in Linkin Park, but in a band called Sean Dodell and his friends, and together they released a 3-track cassette, who remembers those, in 1993. Later, Dodell and Chester moved on to form a new band called Grey Days, a post-grunge band from Phoenix, Arizona. The band recorded a demo and 2 full albums, Wake Me In 1994 and ... No Sun Today in 1997. Chester chose to leave the band himself in 1998. Chester was growing frustrated and nearly quit his music career altogether when Jeff Blue, the vice president of artists and repertoire at Zomba Music in LA, offered him an audition with the future members of Linkin Park, who were then called Zero with an X. Chester quit his day job at a digital services firm and took his family to California, where he had a completely successful audition with Linkin Park. He managed to record the song for his audition in a single day, missing his own birthday celebration in the process. Chester and Mike Shinoda, the band's other vocalists, made significant progress together, but failed to find a record deal. After facing numerous rejections, Blue intervened again and helped the band sign with Warner Bros. Records. On October 24th, 2000, Linkin Park released their debut album, Hybrid Theory, through their newly found deal with Warner Bros. Records. Chester and Mike, again, Mike Shinoda is the second vocalist of Linkin Park, wrote the lyrics to Hybrid Theory based on some very early material from the pair of them. Mike characterized the lyrics as interpretations of universal feelings, emotions, and experiences, and as, quote, everyday emotions you talk and think about. Chester later described the songwriting experience to Rolling Stones magazine in early 2002. It's easy to fall into that poor me, which is where songs like Crawling come from. I can't take myself, but the song is about taking responsibility for your actions. I don't say you at any point in that song. It's about how I am the reason I feel this way. There's something inside me that pulls me down. Chester primarily served as Linkin Park's lead vocalist, but occasionally shared the role with Shinoda. AllMusic Guide described Chester's vocals as higher-pitched and emotional, in contrast to Mike's hip-hop style delivery. Both members also worked together to write all lyrics for all songs performed by the band. Hybrid Theory was certified diamond by the IRAA in 2005. The band's second album, Meteoria, reached number 1 on the Billboard 200 album chart as did Linkin Park's third album, Minutes to Midnight. Linkin Park has sold more than 100 million albums worldwide. In 2003, MTV2 named Linkin Park the 6th greatest band of the music video era and the 3rd best of the new millennium. Billboard ranked Linkin Park number 19 in the Best Artist of the Decade chart for 2012, and the band was voted as the greatest artists of the 2000s in a Bracket Madness poll on VH1. In February 2013, Stone Temple Pilots parted ways with long-term lead singer Scott Weiland. The band recruited Chester to replace Weiland in May 2013. On May 18th, Chester took the stage at Karaoke's Weenie Roast with the band. The setlist included original Stone Temple Pilot songs, as well as their first single, with Chester on the vocals, called Out of Time, which debuted on May 19th, and was available for free download via their official website. It was later announced that Chester and the band, in an exclusive interview, that he was officially the frontman, and discussed the possibility of a new album and tour. The song Out of Time is featured on their EP High Rise, which was released on October 8th, 2013. Chester reflected on joining the Stone Temple Pilots, stating, every band has its own kind of vibe. Stone Temple Pilots has this sexier, more classic rock feel to it, whereas Linkin Park is obviously very modern and a very tech-heavy type of band. I grew up listening to these guys. When this opportunity came up, it was just simply a no-brainer. Chester stated in interviews that singing lead vocals in the Stone Temple Pilots was his lifelong dream. He left the band on good terms due to his commitments with Linkin Park in 2015, and was replaced 2 years later by Jeff Gutt. In 2005, Chester appeared on an episode of The Walking Dead. The lead single from Turntablist's Z-Trip debut album, From Shifting Gears. Chester made a surprise guest appearance during Z-Trip's performance at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in 2005. Bennington re-recorded the Motley Crue song Home Sweet Home as a duet with the band as a charity single for the victims of Hurricane Katrina. He also joined Alice in Chains and performed the song Man in a Box. Chester had a son named Jamie, born May 12, 1996, from his relationship with Elko Brand. In 2006, he adopted Brand's other son, Isaiah. He married his first wife, Samantha Marie Ullett, on October 31st, 1996. They had one child together, Draven Sebastian, born April 19th, 2002. Chester's relationship with his first wife declined during his early years with Linkin Park, and they divorced in 2005. In 2006, he married Tilda Ann Bentley, a former Playboy model, with whom he had 3 children, Tyler Lee Bennington, and twins Lily and Lila, born November 9th, 2011. Chester and Delinda Bennington were harassed by a cyberstalker named David Townsend for almost a year. Townsend was found guilty of tampering with the couple's email, as well as sending threatening messages, and was later sentenced to 2 years in prison. Chester struggled with drug and alcohol abuse. Chester overcame his drug addiction and would go on to denounce drugs in his future interviews, In 2011, he said he had completely quit drinking, noting, "I just don't want to be that person anymore." Chester later battled an alcohol addiction during his tenure with Linkin Park, which he completely overcame following an intervention from his bandmates, claiming that he would never pick up the bottle again. Shortly before 9 a.m. on July 20th, 2017, Chester was found dead by his housekeeper at his home in Palos Verdes Estates in California. His death was ruled a suicide by hanging. Bandmate and close friend Mike Shinoda again confirmed his death on Twitter, writing, "Shocked and heartbroken, but it's true. An official statement will come out as soon as we have one." On July 21st, Brian Elias, Chief of Operations for the Office of the Medical Examiner and Coroner, confirmed that a half-empty bottle of alcohol was found on the scene, but there were no drugs present, and a toxicology report released in December reported a very trace, so small, amount of alcohol in Chester's system at the time of his death. Chester's death occurred on what would have been Chris Cornell's 53rd birthday. Cornell's death was also ruled as a suicide by hanging 2 months earlier, with eerily similar details. Chester was a very close friend of Cornell's and commented on Cornell's death on Instagram, stating, "I can't imagine a world without you in it." Mike noted that Chester was very emotional when the band performed One More Light in his honor in Jimmy Kimmel Live, and could not finish singing the song because he started getting choked up. The band was due to record a live performance of their single, Heavy, but decided instead to play One More Light after hearing the news about Chris's death, because the song was about the loss of a friend who Chester was very, very close with. Chester even sang Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah at Chris's funeral, and he was also the godfather of Chris's son, Christopher Cornell Jr. What I find so very, very interesting about both Chris's and Chester's death is that they both, again, had very eerily similar details. Suicide by hanging when no one was home, no drugs found in their system, and both of them only had a very small, very trace amount of alcohol in their system, stating no more than a shot's worth, which is not, in my opinion, enough to make you want to do what they did. What is, again, so very interesting is the conspiracy around their deaths. Both Chris and Chester were working on exposing a government-wide pedophile ring. Right before both of them were ready to come forward, they were found dead by these supposed suicides, which I just can't simply believe. I, like many others, know that there are dark things happening by very important people, and that those people will do whatever is required to keep their image and to save themselves from prison. I, like many others, feel that Chris's, and then in turn Chester's death, were murders, not suicide, and simply made to look so. Unfortunately, their last mission in life will never come to fruition. It will never see the light of day, and the monsters that brought these icons down will still be out there. Linkin Park canceled the rest of their One More Light tour and refunded tickets. Following his death, Linkin Park decided to take a hiatus until April 2020, when Dave Burrell revealed the band was working on new music. Chester's funeral was held on July 29th at South Coast Botanic Gardens in his hometown of Palos Verdes, California. In addition to his family members and close friends, many musicians who toured or played with Linkin Park were also in attendance, and the service included a full stage for musical tributes. A little bit of kickback. Chester filmed an episode of Carpool Karaoke 6 days before his death, which Chester's family allowed to be aired on October 12th, 2017. And August 27th, during the 2017 MTV Music Video Awards, Jared Leto received media attention for his tribute to Chester and Chris Cornell. Some of his former bandmates from Dead by Sunrise and Grey Days reunited to perform a tribute for Chester during a concert on September 2nd. And Linkin Park themselves hosted a public tribute for Chester in Los Angeles on October 27th. Linkin Park, titled Linkin Park and Friends Celebrate the Life in Honor of Chester. The event featured the band's first performance following his death, along with performance from Blink-182, members of System of a Down, Korn, Avenged Sevenfold, Bring Me the Horizon, Yellow Cards, and many others. Rap artist Jay-Z paid tribute to Chester on several occasions by performing Numb/Encore live. What a lot of people may not know is that Hybrid Theory had a reimagining or revisit where most of the songs were recorded in a much more hip-hop style, a lot of them featuring Jay-Z on the track. So Jay-Z decided to perform these songs solo, live, at his own concerts. Several other artists, including Ryan Key, formerly of Yellow Card, rapper Machine Gun Kelly, Imagine Dragons, and Godsmack, either covered Linkin Park songs or played their own songs during concerts as tribute to Chester in the days and months following his death. And the rapper Logic performed the song 1-800-273-8255 live alongside Elissa, Kari, and DJ Khaled as a tribute to both Chris and Chester. The song's title, 1-800-273-8255, is the phone number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. After Chester's death, his widow, Delinda Bennington, launched a campaign called 320 Directions in honor of her husband to help break the stigma around mental illness, depression, and anxiety. BBC's Steve Holden cited Chester as the voice of his generation, saying that his voice was arguably Linkin Park's greatest asset, and I'm gonna have to agree with him. Jonathan McAlone of the Daily Telegraph commented, Chester's death will have an impact on many millennials because his voice was the sound of their millennia. While talking about Linkin Park's popularity, Kari of AllMusic commented, Chester's often tortured vocals became one of the most distinctive in the rock scene. You could turn on any Linkin Park song and knew who they were simply because of Chester's extraordinarily unique vocals. James Ingle echoed this sentiment, saying that Chester was one of the most honest vocalists on the metal scene and was also the most honest when it came to his mental health, both in his lyrics and in interviews, and helped define a generation of the hard rock industrial metal sound, which were tied together artistically and personally. Chester's lyrics and the emotion behind the music that he provided with Linkin Park inspired millions of people, me being one of them. We all knew, finally, that we weren't alone, that there were others out there that felt the same pain that we did, that we could share in that pain and anguish and know that everything would be okay. Chester's expression of his personal anguish with his troubled upbringing and his struggle with both depression, anxiety, and substance abuse personally helped me through very, very dark times in my life. And him in Linkin Park helped propel me into the music that I listen to today, even inspiring me to become a musician myself. So much so that the first song that I chose to learn on the drums from beginning to end was the song Numb from their first album, Hybrid Theory. Chester's legacy will never perish because his words struck home for so many in the metal community, allowing us to realize that being different wasn't bad, that looking different wasn't bad, and that the way that we felt, we just simply weren't alone.
What do you got, babe? What do you want me to say?
I mean, the same thing. Linkin Park got me through so many angsty teenage nights. You know, it was mind-blowing when it came out. They were completely...
They were Linkin Park.
And I was a total emo kid, and I loved it. And I still play the song Numb when I get pissed off.
So, Shannon also wanted me to express our feelings on Linkin Park as well, because we both almost argued over who would get to do Chester. But for her, it was much of the same for me. We were both different. We were both in pain. And Linkin Park and Chester helped her through her rough, dark teenage times as well. And we agree that when they came out, they were just so unbelievably unique. But yet, Chester was so honest that, again, it's hard for me to put into words what Linkin Park has done for me and what they meant for me. Again, propelling me to become a musician, propelling me into the music I listen to now, and helping me through some of the darkest nights of my life. So, thank you, Chester. Thank you, Linkin Park. And thank you for listening. So, until next time, guys.